So, the Russians.
You're listening to CreepGeeks Podcast. So it begins again. This is season 10, episode 359.
Missing scientists, CIA codes, data center fires, earthquake swarm, Project Bluebeam, and attack bees.
Yeah. So here we are again. Welcome to the CreepGeeks Podcast. I'm Greg.
I'm Omi.
And you may also have seen this podcast listed as CreepGeeks Podcast without the. It's the same. It's interchangeable. It's purely set up for the, ease of the user there, I guess. All right. So anyway, it's been a minute since we did a podcast. We have a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, and it becomes sort of a mixed bean stew of things we have to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. We've had a whole bunch of stuff going on, but that's neither here nor there. But it's all good. So this particular podcast is brought to you by BARLEY'S. And BARLEY'S is dedicated to providing top quality homemade dog treats for every doggo to enjoy. And it's all made from fresh, healthy ingredients without any harmful chemicals. And that ensures your pet receives the best nutrition possible. We like this stuff. Jack likes this stuff. We buy this stuff.
His friends at the dog park like this stuff.
New friends at the dog park like this stuff. The dogs that don't like us, that chase us on a golf cart like this stuff. It's good stuff. So if you go to barleysbites.com, you can get yourself some dog treats. They got all sorts of little delicious dog treats. They got dog bones, the beef liver bites, and all of that there. And there's I believe if you use the coupon code CreepGeeks at checkout, you get a discount. Yeah. I've tried it and it works. Not the dog treats. Well, I mean, I have, but I'm talking about the code. It was very, very nice. So yeah, hook them up. Check them out. And it's American made, if that means anything to you. And it should, because the USA is about to be 250.
Yes.
That's a big deal. It was a big deal when I was a kid, because 1776 rolled around. It was the bicentennial.
Yeah.
They put it on quarters. We celebrated it at school. So it was a thing, man. I think we need some positive patriotism, because it's really easy to talk trash about the country you live in. Go live somewhere else for a while. I've been all over the world. A lot of places are great, and then it really kind of, the shine wears off real quick. So it's kind of like, So it is what it is, but that's what it is. All right, so in our last podcast and some of our previous podcasts, we talk about things, and then we kind of revisit them, right?
Yeah.
So this is starting to make the rounds again, and I thought I would bring it up because I noticed trends.
Okay.
Not all the time, but when I see a trend, I'm like, oh, it's that time of year. Because when I was a little kid, that was like the answer to a lot of things, right? Oh, it's that time of year, right? You knew you can get an idea what time of year it was by what happened, right? We talked about this because you're doing the gardening thing. Mm-hmm. And I like tomatoes. That's about the only thing I like in the garden, really.
Yeah.
Because tomatoes actually taste like a tomato when it's grown in your own garden. You buy them from big box stores. They don't have a taste. They're made to travel and be looking, all pretty and all that stuff when they go to the bin that they put them on, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't have any taste.
Yeah.
You can buy like 5 tomatoes from somewhere, grocery store, and set them on your counter and come back a month later and it's like, oh, you could still eat it. I remember growing up, you had like 5 days. And I know you made that face, but I found a tomato that we bought like 3 weeks ago, and I ate it, and it tasted the same. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And we don't have our house set up to be like a protective tomato environment or anything crazy. It's just like, and a lot of stuff tastes like that. You get these vegetables and junk if you try to eat healthy or whatever, and it's just like it's not. You could eat a tomato, man, when I was a kid. It was like as big as your head. And it really was like a fruit. It had lots of taste. sweet or whatever, it's juice and burn your lips off. It was fantastic. You do it now, it's just like you're eating some chalky, weird thing. So, and the whole point of this is that tomatoes went away in the wintertime. The season for tomatoes ended, and then it went away. So things were seasonal. So you're like, oh, it's that time of year where you got like tomatoes and stuff. You had actual seasons like autumn, fall, spring, whatever, man. And there was like things that you could buy that were only available during those certain times of year. Now you can get like watermelon in July, right? Of course, right? But you can also get watermelon in like December. And none of the stuff tastes the same. I think it's just a lot of the way it is. But it seems to be going back on TikTok again where, it's that time of year where Europe complains about the heat. And I have, because I've seen these British people like, oh, here we go, it's hot again. And then they really want to sit there with a straight face and say that the USA doesn't know anything about humidity or heat. It's like, first off, let me tell you a little story. You're an island that's not anywhere remote to being the largest of any island over in Europe. And you're like the size of like, you could put all of England, like Britain, in Texas and still have plenty of room to spare.
I was watching a content creator from over there. I think his name's Josh. And he's like, when I try to explain to other people from Europe just how big America is, I tell them that you can drive from France all the way through to like the middle of Germany, and that is still not even the same amount as driving the length of Texas from one end to the other.
Yeah, you're still in Texas.
You still have like an extra 200 miles to go.
Yeah.
And he says that, and it really makes these people click. Like they're like, no way. He's like, yeah. So when I tell you America's big, and I've experienced it for myself, that's how big it is,
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I mean, there's people that make hour-and-a-half commutes every single day. That would
To
never
work.
happen
Yeah.
in England, ever.
and then
And I get it. A lot of it's not, they're not set up for it. They don't have wide highways and all that sort of thing. They're really not set up for it. But to sit there and tell me, that, oh, it's so hot. And you look at like, oh, man, they're dying from the heat, or they're going to be dying from the heat, right? It's all in Celsius. So you convert it to American.
yeah,
And you're like, that is 75 degrees.
it's 75 degrees and it's
30%,
like 30% humid. I was
like,
about to say that.
It's
Yeah.
like, that's what it is in the house right now. And it's incredibly comfortable.
And they're going to the emergency room.
Yeah, and they also say, well, it's our infrastructure. Our houses are built thick for the wintertime. It's like, open a window, turn a fan on. Well, we don't have air conditioning. And the reason why they don't have air conditioning as general, it's because it doesn't get that hot.
Imagine if some of these people went to New Mexico or Arizona.
Well, it's dry. They'd probably survive. But see,
swamp
that's the thing, though.
coolers,
When you get, they work.
Yeah.
And the reason why they work, like if we were living back in New Mexico right now, and we were going to like set up some kind of whatever, compound, bunker, whatever you want to call it, whatever the cool hip term it is for like living off grid /
homestead.
There you go, homestead. That's the polite term. We wouldn't use the air conditioning that we have on the East Coast at all. It's inefficient. Even if you buy an efficient unit, it's expensive because it runs lots of power. We would use a swamp cooler.
Yeah.
Because the air is so dry, just adding humidity to it and moving the wind makes things a lot cooler. Now, there's a little of a science to it. If you have the unit on your roof, which window, you crack the furthest window away so that air can actually flow. And, of course, you have the tile floors and things like that. And it keeps it nice and cool. That's what we would use.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't work where you have over 30% humidity. You're just making the air even more moist, and it doesn't matter if you move it or not. You're going to sweat.
Yeah.
And in places like parts of Texas and just further west, shade works.
Shade drops a temperature.
25 degrees in a lot of places, so it'd be like 90 degrees, but you're sitting there like 70.
I'd say 10, 15.
It depends on where you're at. Don't like 10, 15. Come on. It works. Sit in the shade here, and it's still 95 degrees, 96% humidity, and you're sweating in your own eyeballs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and so it's that time of year where British people and European people complain. And yes, there are heat-related deaths that happen, but there are other places in Europe that are much hotter than like England. But I don't need English people thinking they know stuff, talking trash, right? It's like, okay. It's just kind of funny because their food is bland. I've been there. I've had it. I spent about a month altogether in England, two different times, right? And it was bland. It was terrible. That's why they love like things like curry and stuff like that now when they go get takeaway, because it actually has some spice and flavor to it. You eat a proper British breakfast, and it's the spiciest thing they have is like, well, their beans on toast is a slightly less sweet pork and bean, or northern whatever, man. And it was made by Hunts.
Yeah.
So their beans on toast, their favorite breakfast meal or whatever, came from the U.S. We had to give them a little spice. They were taxing us on tea. We threw that crap in the river, right? And then later on, oh, you hungry? Here's some beans. Like, oh, it's so spicy and flavorful. It's a freaking bean, man. And that's why you get tourists that come over, like that Josh from England guy, the first couple times they came over, him and his buddy, what's his face?
Yeah.
They were just floored by how delicious things tasted.
Yeah.
He also gained like 14 pounds. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of the knickknack stuff when I was over there. They had very small refrigerators. Your laundry was in the kitchen with you. It was a washer/dryer unit. So basically they called it a dryer when it would spin and spin the water out. Then you hung your clothes up. So it really wasn't a dryer. Refrigerators were tiny. They bought food, like groceries and stuff like that, typically almost every day.
Yeah.
They'd stop by the store and grab what you need. So they sort of piecemeal it. Here we stock up. We got big refrigerators and stuff. So yeah, it's that time of year. They're complaining already. I'm like, man, 75 degrees, 30% humidity. That's delicious weather. You know what I mean? Delicious.
Yeah.
Because we're about to be like 99 degrees and 96% humidity.
I know.
And it's so hot, the bugs are even tired. They're like, they make the, and they're like,
They were out yesterday, and it really annoyed me because I was trying to get some gardening done. So,
yeah, they get excited and fly in your face.
yeah.
Just that, I don't like aggressive bugs. They're like, it's so hot.
I had one
Let me cool off in your mouth.
I had one hit my windshield today while driving, and it actually made not like the splat noise, but it made the tink, and I'm like,
yeah, like in him an acorn.
yeah. So
That bug probably shaking it off, fly off. So, all right. So the European heat wave is a thing, and part of it is because the weather is changing, and the idea that there was an El Nino has turned into a super El Nino.
okay.
Yeah. So it's starting to form, and it's impacting the warm season weather patterns. So when you get a super El Nino, you get all sorts of weather. I can't talk. Whatever weather you're going to experience under an El Nino.
Yeah.
Under a super El Nino, it's a lot worse. So it's going to be stronger than they previously expected. So that means an atmosphere, impact that's already visible by summer, right?
Yeah.
We're starting to feel it too. So the impact is actually much wider, much bigger, much larger all the way around than what's expected. Now, I kind of understand that because technically we're in a drought. It's been super duper dry.
Yeah.
It's going to stay super duper dry. And that's one of the things with the whole El Nino / super El Nino.
I thought it was interesting too because it was like I watched some historian content creator. She focuses a lot on like I guess the Middle East, Central Europe, and stuff like that. And she did a video about I guess the Fertile Crescent. For a while there, like she went to that area last year, and they were in such a drought that some of the smaller towns were thinking about rationing water.
Yeah.
And now within the past like few weeks, it's flooded, and it showed like, these villagers, and they're crossing the water on like these little tiny raft things, and you can look and the water's so clear because everything was so dry, it started to turn to rock.
Yeah.
So places have like cracked earth, and the earth is like cracked for like feet.
Yeah.
Because that's how dry it got, and now suddenly
there's like a super lake like that out in California.
Yeah, it's like that, and
I
it's
can't
like
think of what it's called, but it's not a very good lake because it
yeah,
has like anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a place like that in Pakistan where it is just desolate dry, and then when it rains, the whole thing floods. It'll be like 3 feet deep.
Heavy rainfall affected southern Iran, parts of Afghanistan, and Syria for 10 days straight, triggering flash floods. And there were spots where like Oman, I think, and parts of Syria where it's like places that were dry beds now have like 3 feet
See,
of
now
water.
all this is starting to feed into a theory, which I was going to get into, or I shouldn't say a theory, but theory is a nice way of saying conspiracy theory, because if you say conspiracy theory, well, back in the 2020s, like the early 20s, you immediately get banned. Mm-hmm. But there's a couple different theories going around. One of them has been around for a minute, and that's the whole weather manipulation thing.
Yeah.
Where you take weather manipulation and the ability to change traditional weather patterns in a way that adversely affects or can positively affect. So you change the weather, and then you apply some lasers to set things on fire. Or you take a group, 15, 20 people, whatever it is, they get into whatever country they need to be in, and they set things on fire to help expedite the process so that you can basically crumble an infrastructure and cause problems, right?
Yeah.
Devastation, mass devastation. And that leads into, since we did we mention Helene yet?
No.
I don't think we did. We talked about it before the show started because you got a really cool challenge coin because during Hurricane Helene, you stepped up when the county called and did your thing.
Yeah.
And you worked like a dog. I just sat around being bored and hot. So I'm actually underplaying it. But anyway, what you did was something that's very impressive. And they came and they gave you a challenge coin.
Yes.
And a lot of people I don't think understand how cool a challenge coin is. It's a little marker. A lot of people trade them like in the military and stuff like that. So when I was in the military, challenge coins, they weren't that cool. At least in the Navy. It kind of caught on with the Navy because the Army was doing stuff like that. But it signifies that they can signify. There's a couple different ways challenge coins work. You can get them. Like it can be, hey, you did something good. Here's a challenge coin.
Yeah.
People can trade them. Like, hey, man, I'm going to trade mine for yours, that kind of thing. That sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a token. It's a memento. It's a marker saying, hey, you've done something significant. And I'm going to give you this so you don't forget.
Yeah.
So you got yours, right? And to the military, those things are super cool and they mean something, right? To a lot of people, they don't really mean a whole lot, right? But it's the whole challenge coin thing has really started to, I think, sort of trickle down. And like police have them, EMT, fire, rescue. It's sort of become a thing. And plus, I guess the ease of getting them made now, it starts to make sense. So you have one, and it's a treasure because it signifies an event that was absolutely just shitty.
Horrible.
Yeah. In Western North Carolina. But you stood up, you did your thing, and you worked.
Yeah.
So,
and
a lot of people do, and a lot of people did too, man. They helped out and they did their things and, did the best they could. But you were recognized for it. And not everybody got one, and not everybody's going to get one. So that goes in a jewelry box or a treasure box.
I'm grateful for the opportunity to have done that for,
Yeah, so when you're like old and like 45,
emergency
you can go
emergency management service, our whole emergency management system, the whole division just basically pulled together within 24 hours of Helene hitting. Our county actually handed control over to our EMS.
Yeah, and this is kind of tying into,
which is why we are at where we are today,
Yeah, police, fire, rescue, emergency services, they were on, for most places, they were ready to roll. They got going. They're doing things. Mm-hmm. When FEMA came in with third-party people to manage and control situations and scenes and stuff like that, had no idea what they were doing. And a lot of resources weren't allocated the way they should be. There's missing money. There's all sorts of things that are occurring or have occurred. And, this is not in Western North Carolina, of course. I look back at Hurricane Katrina, where the governor and the mayor didn't employ resources and didn't call in the federal government. And basically it was terrible.
Yeah.
And I think the big fear is that then they would be found out how they misallocated funds for things like levies and stuff like that to make the place more of a tourist destination. And they were scared to call them in, so they didn't. And people suffered needlessly, lost their lives, property, the entire thing. And I think some of that, and this is my opinion, has occurred in Western North Carolina. But the people that showed up and did the work had a bigger impact at the end of the day than I think FEMA did. Because when we've said this before, Hurricane Helene hit, everything flooded, trees were down. You could hear as soon as it was like daylight, you could hear chainsaws where you had hillbillies and veterans and everybody out cutting trees and moving them off the road. They were already Johnny on the spot and taking care of business.
Yeah. You had teams of locals trying to, two of the biggest things that happened at the western end of our county were we had an entire cell phone tower just go down, like go dark, which didn't make sense to us, and we found out why. But then on top of that, that cell phone tower was near a section of I-40 that had a massive, massive landslide. A section of the mountain literally slid down and destroyed and took out part of I-40, which cut off my county from the rest of the world almost. On top of that, the eastern part of our county, where a major interstate passes through, there were hundreds of trees that had washed onto the interstate from existing rivers. Yeah. So at that point, literally as soon as twilight, as soon as the water started to even slightly recede, you woke up hearing chainsaws.
Yeah, from regular people.
From regular people. We had regular people trying to knock on doors the old school way. Hey, who's a cell phone guy? Let's go find out why that tower ain't working. Yeah. You had a caravan of like 14 guys with chainsaws and hiking packs and wheelbarrows trying to get one of our cell phone towers fixed. You had the leader of our Forest Service for our area. Her house went down the side of a mountain, and she pulled her child and her husband, and they walked 11 miles to Black Mountain Fire Department so that she, as a Forest Service supervisor, could start rescuing other people.
Yeah.
And just little things like that.
You had people showing up with clearing out their own bank accounts to help.
Yeah.
And then you hear this 60 Minutes report was basically blaming everybody that showed up and classifying it as like, what did you call independent militia groups?
Independent conservative militia groups.
So you had basically veterans.
Yeah.
You had conservative leaning people. You had a lot of people showing up, and they were saying that, you know,
it frustrated me because, in my opinion, I got to see many sides of it. And yes, an independent group of veterans that lean conservative helped build a mud road down to Chimney Rock because there was no way to get down there. And Chimney Rock was ground zero for where all the water went. And to say something like that.
Is that like the West Virginia boys?
Yeah.
It's probably because they had boys in their name.
It was them and like an actual like union of like road crew people joined together and did that. And then you had, oh, I'm so mad. But then what 60 Minutes didn't identify was something more relatable for my generation that I did get mad at. Content creators.
Yeah.
Content creators who called their buddy who had a helicopter, hey, let's fly over and drop water. And they accidentally drop it and break something off the top of a school. Or they drop their own power drinks.
Yeah, we had like, I think it was Jake Paul dropped everybody power drinks and stuff like that. But the whole point is that they shifted the ineffectiveness of the government and FEMA and missing money onto, well, efforts were hindered by these people. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, because if it wasn't for those people and doing what they did, it would have been much, much worse. Because there's still people that don't have places to live. There's still people that, I mean...
As someone who lives here, something that made me mad was I have heard an excuse from FEMA, not an excuse, but a statement from some representatives that FEMA, third-party contractors, well, we went to those addresses and we tried to look for those people and ask them to start applying for assistance. And my reason is, A, that house is gone. B, an independent church or community group went and got those people and got them a hot tent or got them temporary housing
or got them real food instead of. And it's funny because this is I'm going to make a prediction. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times FEMA brings like meals ready to eat and stuff, and those are amazing because it's all you got something to eat. Mm-hmm. Well, what did we talk about just not even a month ago in the podcast?
Oh gosh,
about a lot of these MREs are made in China and they're poison.
Yeah.
So FEMA basically brought poison. Some hillbilly guy, veteran dude, is bringing like food, like real food to eat.
Yeah.
So I just think the whole thing is aggravating. And then there's the conspiracy theories that go with it to tie into weather, like with weather manipulation being a possibility. That Helene was possibly an unnatural storm as it sat stalled and just flooded the entire area. And the reason behind it is to devalue the land and move the people so that lithium and things like that can be extracted at a much less expensive cost to support.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Now, I mean, there is a huge, they found a large deposit of lithium at Kings Mountain, but that place was a mine before all of this. Mm-hmm. And so they've recently passed, I guess, EPA hurdles or whatever so that they can tap this larger ball of lithium. I don't know how lithium, but they have to strip it out and get to it. It's like hard lithium. But anyway, and so people are like, I told you. I knew it. And it's like
Kings Mountain?
If you look at that storm and you look at like what's happened, Hawaii's a little bit different, with the whole laser thing and all that and burning just to take and claim the land. But what's kind of more modern, more current, is that you have places on fire, like in Georgia, where the whole town said, "Hey, we don't want a data center." Now magically, it's all on fire.
Really?
So what happens when you burn it all away? It's like Barnett County or Baird. I can't remember exactly. And I didn't open up 1,000 links because we have a lot of conspiracy stuff. And so the whole community got together and basically said, "Hey, we don't want it," but the city council pushed it through, and they basically fired the city council. And now everything caught on fire.
Oh.
And guess what's going to happen? That data center is going to happen. You burn everything up and there's no people to worry about. What does that mean? It means you just buy the land for super cheap and do what you want.
We have that issue right now. It's all over the news because Duke Energy is trying to push forward with multiple data centers all across the state. And they're trying to pass the cost off onto the consumer.
Yes.
They've sent representatives to each county to explain why rates will go up.
Yeah.
And out one sentence, it's, these rates are to support our massively growing infrastructure because North Carolina is the #1 state people are moving to. But then they talk about how they're rolling the cost of the build and production of the data center into an infrastructure thing. And you're like, wait, you said that we as residents are not going to pay for the infrastructure, but then you just said we are going to pay for the infrastructure.
Now see, here's how I look at it. That's cost of doing business.
Yeah.
You take some of your profits and you pay for it.
That's exactly what everybody on both sides of the political thing are saying.
Because that seems to have gone away since COVID in general, because COVID has made it easy when you lock everybody down. I'm not paying for your cost of business.
This is the one thing that and North Carolina is a very magenta state, and this is the one thing that both Republican, conservative, and Democratic and left-leaning people can agree on. There is absolutely no reason to raise some of these rates. We've had quotes for some people who live like in Burke County, like this one 68-year-old woman. She's like, they did the math and they looked at all the Duke paperwork and it was like her bill is now every single month going to be $596.
Oh, it's even worse in some places where your bill every month can be over $1,000.
Yeah.
And then you got to add the conspiracy of, those wireless meters aren't accurate.
Yeah.
And so you start digging into this stuff, but
this wildfires in South Georgia, TikTok is hitting me a little too hard because we do have 2 data centers right now south of our county. They're in a nearby county called Rutherford, and one of them has already had some interesting drama near it. It had a fire that was of suspicious means or cause, quickly put out after a whole day, and then it's had some attempted fires, which are clearly arson.
Yeah.
And I'm just not.
Now, those are disgruntled people. I always think back to these little camera cars that they had in New Mexico. And I remember me and my buddy Dave in New Mexico laughing pretty hard because we passed the same camera car. He went by it and it was fine. Right. And a camera car, it was basically like I think it was some kind of little Ford SUV thing.
It was a Ford Focus.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a Ford Focus. It was like an Escape. It was a Ford Escape.
Yeah.
And inside the Ford Escape would be these cameras with these big lenses on them. And they were, I paid interest in the whole thing because the lenses were made by Canon and they were nice lenses. Mm-hmm. And if you were speeding, it would just snap a picture and have your license plate nice and clear because Canon lenses are awesome. Right? And send you a ticket.
Yeah.
Well, when Dave had went by, because he got to work a lot earlier than me, right? Mm-hmm. It was fine. When I went by, it was on fire. And it wasn't on fire like, something inside it caught on fire. It wasn't burning from the inside. It was like on fire on the outside. And then it was maybe a week later or whatever, it showed up again because they had moved these things around. And it had lots of phallic symbols spray painted all over it.
Oh,
so
yeah, I remember
people
that.
hated those things. And I hated it too. It's just kind of one of those things. So
And the phallic symbols happened within minutes because it was like,
yeah.
it was like, it was a big purple one. And then like,
you don't need to just.
well, we drove by it again and somebody added to it in different color paint.
And, New Mexico is an artist city. It's definitely artist friendly.
Yeah.
But, they're going to get the money somehow. And with the data centers, people are hating the idea that data centers are coming into the U.S. or being built in the U.S. And a lot of people despise it because they take water and they really impact the environment, local communities, and all that stuff. And I get it, and I totally understand. However, I think we need to keep our data in the U.S. and not rely on data centers overseas, because that way we have slightly more control over what's happening. And AI is a thing. AI is like. Every generation or so, you have a couple of technological events that change things, like internet changed everything and all that, right?
But there's a problem with that. We can't even get these data centers to, because this got brought up by Buncombe County in North Carolina, because they have a proposal on the table for 2 data centers. There's no guarantee that it's our data at all.
No, I understand, but I would rather have the infrastructure that's could basically be. I want our infrastructure here for this.
Yeah.
I want my data stored in USA servers. If they get hacked or whatever, it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen anyway, right? I mean, you could easily have somebody that has all the names and addresses and phone numbers of, I don't know, a couple 100,000 medical patients, and they just leave it on a park bench somewhere if they ate a sandwich from Subway, right? I want the infrastructure here. And I do think that slowly but surely, USA is starting to kind of go back, or trying to go back to where it was before, where we have industry here, we have, things that have been shifted to overseas, like through NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement. It brings some of that stuff back. As a country, we should be able to support ourselves. Because I think about Helene. We survived, and we had a camper van, we had all that stuff.
Yeah,
we were okay. We didn't have to rely on too many outside things. And eventually for us, it was kind of an inconvenience, the whole Helene thing. People were devastated, but we ship so much of the things that we would need to survive as a country outside, or we get it from another country. If the other country turns it off, we would stop. And that needs to not happen. Like we buy oil and all that stuff. We have enough oil reserves. I mean, I can't remember the name of the study or whatever it was. And maybe it might have even been a television show where it said Texas has more oil than all of the oil producing exporting countries combined. We just don't tap it that way. Yeah. And there's certain types of, it's the whole thing is sort of you really have to dig. You got to dig deep in it, because it's not just what comes out of the ground. It's how you refine it. We need more refineries if we're going to keep our gas prices low and everything else. So it all becomes a thing. But I do think the idea of bringing things back and keeping it in-house in the country is probably going to be the smarter way to go. But if we've got people, scratching away at our infrastructure from the inside, these little, individual groups or whatever, people, we got to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Because, like with the California fires, I remember watching this guy who was like, he made an angry video that he had seen somebody setting fires. And he went and confronted him. Why are you setting this on fire? And the guy basically ran away. And he called the police, and the police didn't care at all. So if you've got, a team of arsonists, if they're out there just burning stuff because it's the affliction that they can't address because it's a what is it? You know what I mean? Like people that I'm trying
Pyromania?
No, it's like it's in their nature. It's a predilection. It's part of who they are. They have to see things burn. I hate to use a weird example, like feet people love feet. They have to see the feet. Because I don't want to say pedophile because that's disgusting.
Pyromania.
No, it's a condition you have where you are compelled no matter what. This is your thing. Pyromaniac is a person who basically sets things on fire and can't necessarily control. I'm talking about the thing. I mean, because it doesn't have to be you don't have to be a pyromaniac. It's the thing you're driven to do. Compulsion?
Yes,
we'll just use compulsion. I mean, I know what a pyromaniac is. I'm just trying to figure out so anyway. But yeah, we're going to move out of that. So the idea that weather manipulation, people trying to destroy our infrastructure from the inside, weather manipulation used to move people and claim land. So all of that is sort of coming into play these days. The data center that didn't want to happen, but now the place where it's going to happen magically catches on fire. Florida has fires weirdly now.
Yeah.
And Florida's very dry. They get like 55 inches of rain a year, but they're in a severe drought, and you got parts of northern Florida burning, and you got parts of southern Florida burning. And I didn't have a chance to look to see is a data center coming there in northern Florida? Is that why everything's just burned to the ground? Because, you burn everything up. It makes it really easy to clear things. It makes it less expensive to get the land and prepare the land.
It already does. They have Northwest Regional Data Center.
Is that where the fires are?
Flexential Jacksonville Data Center and Tier Point Data Center.
Are people setting fires to destroy the data centers? I don't know what's going on here, but it seems like it's something. So anyway, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
This is lots of things. And this whole NASA missing scientist thing, I started digging into it, and I can't get my head. It's just too much.
Apparently.
Because now you could be a NASA scientist that died like 10 years ago, and you're part of the missing scientist thing. And people were saying this is all about alternative propulsions and UFO craft type situations where some of the stuff they were working on ties to that. And I don't know.
I mean,
it's a lot.
Basically, I watched one video and it said every single person that's on this missing or, whatever list, they all had one project in common, and that project somehow ties into some of those patents you talked about like 2 years ago.
Actually, I think that was 5 years ago now.
5 years ago.
U.S. Navy filed for alternative propulsion patents.
And something that we will see by the end of 2026, which is why all these people have to be dead by then. That's one video I saw, and I was like, oh, that's terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started looking into it, and it was just kind of like, I mean, I don't think things are coincidental.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's doing what. Like, is this an attack on part of our infrastructure? Is this coming from somewhere else? Or, I mean, what better way to wipe out new and emerging technology that we may or may not have by taking out the experts that created it? Because those experts don't just create one project and complete the project and stay there. No, I'm done.
Yeah.
They're experts. Over time, they've become subject matter experts, and they're going to keep doing things to further whatever project result you have to make it better, faster, stronger, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you take them out, it can stall the program. Like, for example, if you take out all the scientists that are enriching your uranium and you get rid of them, then your program stops. And it's like, is this sort of a tit for tat thing with what we've got going on in Iran? Yeah. Iran is not strong enough as a country to do anything to the U.S., but they send over a couple people to do some stuff, and it can have an impact. they've been our bad guys for 80 years, like bombing Lebanon, killing Marines and people and tourists and everything else.
Okay.
So, are some of these fires being started that way because of this? Are data centers being caught on fire because of this? Is infrastructure being taken out? You know what I mean? Is this something we should be aware of? Are terrorists really here? Are sleeper cells being activated because the Iran has said they're awakening everything?
I don't know. I feel this whole scientist thing
Because we have shootings and stuff like that that are happening by people. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, man. But the missing scientist thing does seem, it's kind of crazy.
To me,
a large chunk of them are involved with alternative propulsions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think our own government is taking these people out.
I do.
Well, I mean, maybe they are, but we don't know. You know what I mean? It's not like they're like, well, this is perfect now. We don't need these people and just wipe them away. What, did their contracts end and they ended too? Is their contracts ended and pretty soon this alternative propulsions or whatever it is going to be public knowledge, and now all these companies like Lockheed Martin and divisions of Lockheed Martin and other aerospace are they going to be able to go forward with it and sell?
Hey, maybe it's just one.
So
last
it's like,
step
the
before.
patent ended, so or we have the patent now, so we can control it. Nobody else can duplicate it, so now we can open the doors and start selling things.
Yeah, like one last step for that intellectual property ownership.
Right.
So that's how
it's
feel.
not like back in it was in the 60s where, Tang was created for astronauts and it started hitting the shelves, right? Mm-hmm. Is it like that? So I'm not exactly sure. And I think when that sort of thing happens where if you don't know if it's your government doing it or somebody else, it's probably both. But you'll never hear how much you should actually be worried.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what used to happen at work. Hurricane would be coming down, right? Or snow. And you'd be like, are we open or not? So you call them up and go, hey, man, are we open or not? Just use your best judgment. If you can make it. So it just becomes this sort of thing where they won't make a decision. Like saying we are closed. Well,
that is one thing I'm pretty grateful for my job about the job I have now is they make a decision.
Oh, yeah. You know why?
Yeah.
Helene.
Well, even before that, they were like, it's a snow day.
Oh, it's definitely real now. But no matter what now, if it's awful, shut it down. Shut it all down. And I hate to say it, but I don't think people necessarily gun shy, but it kind of makes sense, right? And that's what made Helene so weird, man. It wasn't altogether, it wasn't bad. It's just, it stalled and flooded everything.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that we're sitting here ranting about things. It's just kind of like, what do we even talk about? Seems like there's just so much stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
So I will say that a little green alien was spotted.
Oh.
At the Artemis 2's crew splashdown. And what it was, I thought this was cool.
How cute.
It's kind of old now, but I kind of kept it because they had them right. They put them on the deck. They're getting out of the helicopters and all that stuff, and they swing up to the bridge, and there's an inflated green alien blow up thing in the window waving at them. So I'm surprised nobody freaked out about that. Turned it into a serious conspiracy. So that's some funny stuff that squids do. Some squid.
Yeah.
Some Navy guy thought this is going to be funny. This is kind of a historic thing. Artemis went back to the moon, right? Did the whole thing, came back safely, even though that return capsule kind of looked pretty shitty, man. It looked pretty bad.
Look beat up.
No, it was like burnt to pieces.
Yeah.
Chunks were missing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the heat shield did what it's supposed to do." I don't remember the Apollo missions and stuff looking that bad. Like it didn't look like they're going to be able to necessarily reuse that quickly. I'm like, that looks pretty terrible, man. But I don't know. It's like, yeah, man, they had their whole high stakes mission around the moon, and they come back and or getting out there, and you look up, and there's an inflated green alien in the window. Hey, I thought that's pretty funny. You know what else is pretty funny?
What?
We talk about earthquakes and micro earthquakes been happening in this area for a long time, and I'm talking about North Carolina, Georgia, and stuff like in parts of Tennessee as well, right?
Yeah.
And we always say the same thing. They're just making the bunkers bigger.
Making the deep underground bases bigger.
Yeah, the domes, they're making them bigger. They reactivated them because that is true, though. A lot of the deep underground military bases or domes have been reactivated, putting more money into them. And the whole, the I don't know what they actually call it, but there's allegedly underneath the ground, you can travel from the East Coast to the West Coast. And some of it's so big, you can put like submarines through it and transit, right?
Okay.
In Denver, they have the underground sort of highway thing that connects into New Mexico and places like that. We've actually talked to people that said, yeah, my uncle worked on that.
Yeah.
Where you have a whole underground labyrinth of tunnels and high-speed things. And the earthquakes are caused by these nuclear drilling machines and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the whole thought. And blowing stuff up so that they could move like larger pieces or whatever. And in here, around Area 51, and I use that loosely, they had a string of micro-earthquakes, right? These sort of unexplained earthquakes.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay, this is a conspiracy that I've heard. Since the president is going to release any and everything about secret programs and UFOs and aliens and stuff like that, all this information, this top secret stuff and hidden technology and things like that are stored in these underground tunnels in and around Area 51. And so what's happening is these storage facilities that store this information have nuclear charges on top of them. So so the enemy won't get it, they can detonate it and it collapses everything.
Okay.
And so, president says this is what we're going to do. And all of a sudden you got this string of earthquakes, right? A swarm of earthquakes. Mm-hmm. And some people are saying, well, that's because they're detonating all these storage facilities so that nobody can get in there and find out what's really there. And other people are saying, well, they're just expanding what's already there to create this huge labyrinth of underground tunnels and like miles and miles of storage and everything else so that we could all live underground when the end comes. So I don't know. But we've had tons of earthquakes, hundreds of them here.
Yeah.
I mean, none of them are like really big. Some of the biggest ones are under the lake, like 2.3. But anyway, that's what's happening out there. Swarm of earthquakes.
Okay.
Probably to hide our UFO stuff.
Oh. Okay.
Secrets. I mean, it goes back to, remember we were going to go see Stanton Friedman in New Mexico, but he was sick and then later on he just died.
Yeah, Dulce.
Yeah. Well, Dulce, he had a huge alien fight.
Yeah.
Where they were down there fighting aliens and reptilians because there's a dome there, deep underground military base in Dulce. And that's connected to White Sands, and it's connected to Los Alamos and parts of Colorado, and all of that sort of all connected there. So are these micro earthquakes just basically destroying evidence, or is Area 51 actually expanding? Because they say around Area 51. It's not like Area 51, Groom Lake, and all of a sudden that's where all the earthquakes are. It's just in that area. So are they just expanding it so they can get further away and further underground? Because Groom Lake, I mean, you can kind of almost, if you got a good enough lens, you can just go up on the mountain and sit there and look at it.
Yeah.
Whereas like S4 and S7 were the secret ones. So is there another area? Is there like an Area 53? Is that Utah? Is that Dugway Proving Grounds? Is that Area 54, 53? I don't know.
I don't know.
But that was the whole swarm of earthquakes. I like the idea of just like, you'll never get our secret alien information. This way, you'll have to buy the alternative propulsion from us. Because that's another conspiracy. Everything you see whizzing around that looks weird is our own stuff. Like Tic Tac is our own craft.
Okay.
Made by Lockheed Martin and Skunk Works, and it's utilizing the alternative propulsions. And it got sort of perfected, and then they went and the U.S. Navy submitted patents for it. And they've been tested. And all the weird drones and stuff you see have been tested. And they can do almost like a version of wireless charging. That's why they go hang out around nuclear plants. Recharge. Which would make sense because there's also, if you look at the sun, there's people that'll say there's giant motherships that sit by the sun and suck up all that radiation. and recharge. And, if you do a lot of this stuff, especially with low blood sugar, these all make sense. Man.
Okay, because you're sitting here now and you're like,
Hey. I mean, my last had a little low blood sugar incident and bought a laser engraver. I don't have enough stuff to engrave. So now I got to buy stuff to engrave. Let me get some of these keychain leather blanks so I can, burn something cool on them. I'm going to get these black business card blanks. They're metal so I can burn on me a really crappy business card. And the thing is, I'm older. I don't know if I'm going to have enough patience to see this through.
oh gosh.
Like people that do 3D printing and the resin-based 3D printing, they're not just like, yeah, I bought this from the store and made this today. No, these nerds have been in it for a while. They've been researching it because you have to. Mm-hmm. Because it's not as quick and easy as like, I took this picture on my phone and I just burned it up on this coffee mug. And it took 12 minutes. It's not like that, man. It's like it's a lot involved. It's definitely for sure a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So this laser engraver, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it's going to work. Never know. Might burn something, might set the house on fire. Because I was reading something today about somebody that sent a picture of their handrail outside their apartment. And it's like vinyl covered, And it looked like it just been burned to pieces in one spot. And they were like, what is this? Because it's on Reddit. It's like, what is it, right?
Yeah.
What happened here? What is it? And people were saying, oh, well, chances are somebody had maybe a glass ornament or some kind of like crystal, some sort of glass hangy thing or maybe something in the window. And the sun hit it, created a prism like a magnifying glass and channeled all that heat to it and set it on fire. And then other people had chimed in and said, my mom bought one of those mirrored globes and put it in the yard.
Yeah.
And basically burned our house down. Or it was a barn. Burnt the barn down because the sun hit it. And I'm just like, is that something else I got to worry about?
So,
like, oh, you want to hang this crystal thing? Absolutely not.
I recently watched a video where there's an increase of people who have this one weird burn at the top of
like their ceilings and stuff.
The ceiling of their car.
Yeah.
And it's from light refracting out of super cheap, because car windshields and side doors are so cheap now. The glass is so cheap.
Yeah, they're made cheaply.
Yeah,
now.
the sun is reflecting through the window into the water bottle, bouncing up and burning that hole or that line. And that line is the passage of time. So how long you were away from your car.
Yeah.
But the globe, interestingly enough, if it stays still, meaning no other cars pass by and rumble your car or vibrate your car, that thing just burns stuff. Yeah. So,
and I can see it. I remember one of my buddies had a CD and a CD player. And after a while, for some reason, it kicked the CD out. And so it was just kind of sitting in the CD player in his car. And that thing was melted flat, almost like a taco shell. And where the reflective side of it, which is on the bottom, didn't do anything. But if it had been one of those cheesy like AOL discs that you used to get way back in the early days, like in the 90s, where they're all mirrored on one side or whatever.
Yeah.
It could have set his whole car on fire. We used to take those discs and hang them in trees to scare away birds. Because they like reflect sort of a modern day bottle tree. You put bottles on the branches of trees to scare away the spirits. The spirits go into the bottles and get stuck. And then the sun burns them alive when it comes in. That's why you use like liquor bottles and stuff like that. You don't use like wine spirit bottles. So you put like wine bottles, liquor bottles and stuff on the branches of the trees. And so the evil spirits would go in there because they're drawn to the spirits, right, of the bottle.
Yeah.
And then the sun heats them up. They can't get out. And they turn to dust or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. How you like that?
Sure.
So I actually watched somebody who said that that was like primarily a tradition brought over from somewhere. And I'm like, we've seen those in New Mexico. I don't think that's exactly, you can't just give it to one group of people saying, this is who did this. It's like, I don't think so. Because I don't think people realize how old like California, New Mexico had been around.
Yeah.
Maybe not as named California, New Mexico, but there was people there like way before 1776 when we started, or 1603 really when we started getting settlers. But, we're about to be 250, right? And
Yeah,
it's 250, right? USA 250. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Secret testing could also be happening with those swarm earthquakes in and around Area 51. But what would they be testing? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So let's talk about another theory, Project Bluebeam, that sort of occurred, right? This was like in the 1990s and stuff like that. The idea of putting a hologram, projecting a hologram in the sky, and then catering your message or narrative to control the people, like with UFOs or the rapture or Jesus or something like that. And so it's a conspiracy theory. It's basically was considered impossible in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Not so much now. It could be done.
Okay.
And so if you put your tinfoil hat on and you look at it, right? So when somebody spots something unidentified in the sky, the idea is that, with modern manifestations, they all center around the belief of a more powerful institution. And so you could take and control a populace by scaring them and kind of working on their fears, whether it's aliens or, God or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you do that to sort of destabilize a community. And destabilize doesn't mean just like scare them to death and they run away. It could be you throw them off kilter. So everything they believe, in reality is sort of shifted, and now something that they believe can be proven by seeing this with their own eyes. And now they're more likely to get in line. And so you can start to control, all of this. And all this was supposed to be allegedly done by the New World Order.
Okay.
Utilizing the new technology. So you'd have like large scale manipulation, and you can, use this as a way to either create a new religion or change an existing religions, because they use the idea of religious zealots or people that are really heavily religious as like, this will be the thing.
Okay.
Control, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a product of a Canadian conspiracy theorist, Project Bluebeam. Sergei Monast.
Okay.
So he had claimed that he had seen secret documents laid out for plans for the creation of a new world order. And the plan was meant to be started in 1983 when the age of Aquarius was. So that's when it was supposed to start.
Yeah.
So because according to, the way you look at it, I guess with the age of Aquarius, some astrologers, is that it symbolized a new era. So I'm not one of those people who's like, your house is in Mountain Dew or whatever. I don't understand that stuff. But.
Oh, speaking of which, apparently, a friend of mine was talking about how the past 2, 3, 5 years have been really tough for her, and some other people she knows, and she just found out that Aquarius, Leo, and like 2 or 3 other signs are finally having something out of retrograde that's been in retrograde for about 7, 8 years now. And I'm like, oh.
What does that mean, retrograde?
Apparently something's been in retrograde in one of their houses that's actually caused a lot of problems for folks. So if you've just had a really rough...
So if you're Aquarius...
Leo... Gemini was one. And then there's another.
Feces?
No.
Feces is the other one. That's your sign, right? That's my sign, Feces.
No, I thought you were a Cancer.
It's like, all right.
So...
I assume it's a joke.
Yeah. Anyways...
Aren't you Aquarius?
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, I think of that song, Aquarius. So it doesn't affect feces. I'm good.
Nope, or Cancer. So
there we go.
Yeah.
So they're coming out of retrograde. So that means they're getting their glow up now?
Yep.
After being...
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So.
When's Cancer getting a glow up?
I don't
know. Even want to talk about it. That's how you jinx yourself. And your doctor says... Hey, have you had cancer? And you go, no. You want some? And that's how it starts. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate having things cut off me Hey, look at that. Oh, that looks weird. Let's just go ahead and cut it off.
Oh, gosh.
So I've had lots of things cut off. Mm-hmm. So I went to a recent doctor's appointment, and she was like, "Oh, can you tell me, have you had this or that?" And I'm like, "Well, I had this cut off and that cut off. I had this thing cut off back here, and this cut out of me, and that cut out of me." And she was like, I don't know if I need to write all this down. And I was like, "Well, you asked. You got to be specific." So, yes. Anyway, they can take this new era and make it coercive and weaponized, and basically make this new world order be able to control the masses.
Oh,
by basically effectively using holograms to freak people out. And back in the olden days, they're like, yeah, that's pretty funny, but it can be done now, I think, and probably, who knows, maybe that's part of what we're seeing. Just in generally, some of these weird reports of like, did you see that? Yeah. Who knows? I just thought it was kind of funny. Project Bluebeam. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
One of the things that I was going to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about because this is a rabbit hole, how these CIA codes or the Grabovoi codes where you can recite certain numbers
Yeah.
to do certain things, and you keep doing it like a mantra, and these numbers allegedly work, and the CIA gather them together, and they got them through whatever, all these different means and stuff. And it's like, I started looking into it, and it's like there's numbers for like pain, how you can kind of recite these different these numbers, and you repeat them in succession, and it'll take your pain away, and you can do it for clarity, and you can do it for all sorts of crazy stuff. And I started digging into it. I'm like, well, why would the numbers have significance? And it's explained in a way, but my thought was, if you're in a simulation and maybe you're just repeating the same code over and over and over again, you just basically, you're like doing a cheat on your own self. Because if it's a simulation, there's a lot of people who are like, what the heck, man? This is it. This is where, why can't you give me an upgrade, right? I need something. My wallet's empty, that sort of thing. So are these like cheat codes because we're living in a simulation and somebody figured it out and you just keep repeating it and all of a sudden you get your own little upgrade?
Or what if you're sitting there and you're just constantly repeating it, so that sends a trouble ticket out like, oh, number 48's still acting up. Let me go fix it.
So it hits the help desk and then you get a little blurb and all of a sudden like, oh man, all right, here we go.
That's what I think.
Kind of the same thing. It's like, I just thought that was kind of a funny thing.
Yeah.
So I might look into it but I was just like, man, this is deep. That's like trying to figure out, I don't know. No, I don't want to go into that, but I did find out one thing that I am kind of excited that I think AI might be useful for, because I'm not necessarily a big fan of AI in general, because it's definitely going to replace jobs and all this other stuff, and it's not going away. If they're building all these data centers to facilitate AI and just basically data storage in general and all of that. But I did see an article where AI being used for health reasons has become a pretty good predictor of things. At least this is one story where it's like, oh, this is kind of neat. Now, of course, that can go the other way too. And AI can predict that you may have a health condition that you don't.
Yeah. And
then you can get inadvertently treated for it because, diagnosis, it can be kind of hard, I guess. There's so many different, everybody's different in some way or another. But so this is from NBC News where it says AI finds signs of pancreatic cancer before tumors develop. And so the Mayo Clinic basically has an artificial intelligence model, right? It detected abnormalities on scans up to 3 years before the patients were actually diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
So the AI took the scans and said, this is a predictor, according to what I see AI, this is a predictor that you may develop some sort of pancreatic cancer issue.
Yeah.
And so now it's being evaluated in a clinical trial. I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Because if they can do it in AI and make it accuracy where it is, you might be able to go in there, get a scan, and they can say, we think in 3 to 5 years you're going to develop this, but we can start a treatment now to head it off, fix it, keep it from being a thing.
As long as there's a human to, of course
there would be.
Yeah, because, this is the type of things I want AI to definitely be involved in, or like the prediction of weather models and how to forecast ahead. Like North Carolina's in a drought. Should we have released more water in a dam or what have you?
Yeah.
You know, that type of stuff. But then like I was watching some content creator and he was talking about, in the end, AI is capable of so much, but it's only capable of what people make it capable of. Like right now, somebody has developed an AI program that they're integrating for a company, and the AI program is monitoring how many times you as a customer service agent or representative thank a customer or use the term thank you or no worries or no problem when you speak to a customer, so that the company can ding you for not thanking the customer.
Or overthinking the customer.
Or overthinking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all contact center crap.
Instead, you should have AI monitoring whether or not the customers are abusive. If there's an increase in like one customer milking the system, if you work in that type of call center or customer service. No, it's let's find a way to make jobs harder for the agents, not how to alleviate things that the agents or customer service people.
So let's use some corporate jargon. Basically, if they can do that, it eliminates a pain point for the customer, right? Because you can train your agent, right? And the AI, using the AI would be a way to for your manager or supervisor to distance themselves from directly calling you out.
Yeah,
it's one of those sort of passive aggressive tools. It says, well, AI has said that you've only said thank you one time. And, the recommendation based off of all of our data with AI, it says that you should have thanked them 7 times or whatever. Now, the real issue is that what they're doing is if you make the customer happy, you don't have to actually fix the problem. So it's all about scale, right? You make 1 million substandard products and you have, say, maybe 1% of those people calling in because they're angry about it. You placate them, you make them happy. You don't have to fix the 999,999 other units.
Yeah.
And so they're going to keep making money hand over fist because the amount of people that will actually take time out of their day and complain is less than the people be like, this is a piece of crap and throw it away.
Yeah.
And they'll just keep on doing what they're doing. And this is sort of the same thing that happens with shrinkflation and whatever, right? Where your hamburger is super tiny. Or the thing that we talked about in our last podcast where, the weights of products don't match anymore, where the bag says you're going to get 2 pounds and you weigh it and it's like 1.27 pounds. Yeah. Because most people don't sit there and go, let me put it just in my hand and say, what does this weigh? Does this actually weigh 2 pounds? Does it feel light? And they don't walk over to a scale because a lot of places, when I was growing up as a kid, you could play with a scale. Every little thing that sold anything individually had a scale hanging off of it.
Yeah.
And it was all calibrated. So you could just weigh stuff. You could put like 1 lemon up there, 2 lemons. You could do all that. Now you're hard pressed to find a scale or a couple scales. It'll be at the under end of the store. It'll be, or not the store, but the other end of the aisle, or be in a place where it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So you have to almost like go up to the counter or the self-checkout and use this scale there only to find out that, wow, this is supposed to be 3 pounds of barbecue and it's 10, but it's 2.27 pounds. You know what that means? Somebody's not eating.
Yeah.
You got a family of 4? Well, who's the littlest? Well, you get a little bit. So you're still paying the full price. You're paying the price stated by weight, but that's not the actual weight. You're supposed to report this when it happens because there's like weights and measures or something like that. Say, hey, they are selling a product that is not accurate in weight and they're supposed to find them, but nobody ever does it.
Yeah.
And then you'll get like responses from companies are like, well, there is a variance or we had a problem with our machines for this day or whatever, making excuses instead of just actually putting the stated weight in the bag or the box or whatever it is. If it says 3 pounds, say 3 pounds. But they won't do that. Because what will happen is if they changed it from 3 pounds to 2.7 pounds, right? You're not going to buy it. Mm-hmm. Because what happens if you're paying for less? You'd expect to pay less. Not keep paying the same price. It's like, that's, when we're talking about barbecue, that's a lot, man. That's what?
Yeah.
How many ounces does it take to make a barbecue sandwich? At least 2. That could be a couple of barbecue sandwiches that you no longer get because those slimy bastards are not putting the full amount in. And they know this. They have machines that weigh it all out. We've watched how it's made.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
The machine knows how much crap weighs. So somebody has set it to do less and still charge you more. And what happens with all the excess that they have? Because they're not doing the full pound amount. They just keep packaging it up. So they're making all this tons of money by shortchanging the customer, both by them paying an exorbitant price at a lesser weight. And then they take the excess of what's left over and they just make more product, which at the end of the day saves them money. It's nefarious. And I think a lot of people we should be complaining, but nobody's doing it. Nobody has it in them to complain anymore. They got other stuff they're worried about. You know what I mean? Nobody's got that sort of, I'll show you, you're going to screw me, I'll screw you kind of, it just seems like it's not there because we're just accepting of it now. But I do like the idea of AI being able to predict things because pancreatic cancer is supposed to be like one of the leading, if not the number one cause of cancer deaths by like 2030. What the hell's causing all this pancreatic cancer? Because when I was growing up, you never heard of anyone having this. And it used to be, the theory was for a long time, like Patrick Swayze died of pancreatic cancer and other stars did. Like, that's just code for AIDS.
Don't say that.
No, but that was the theory. Now there's like, everybody's getting, and colon cancer is crazy with the latest generation because they're all getting colon cancer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Zennials or millennials, whatever it is. It's not millennials. It's like the one after.
I'm millennial.
Okay.
Then after me is Gen Z.
Whatever, man.
Then there's Alpha Gen.
Okay, whatever. Those guys.
Okay, Alpha Gen? Yeah.
No, the one after you.
Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah. Gen Zers and all those guys, they're having these really high rates of colon cancer.
It's food.
Is it the processed food or, people, they act like, from what I've seen, they're trying to be healthy, right? But what's happening? I don't know, man. It's got to be our crappy food. Processed garbage, and like I said, you can eat a tomato. It's been on your counter for like a month and it doesn't even taste like a tomato. Let's get into that theory. You know what it is? It's all this genetically modified crap we got going on. But really what it probably is glyphosate, which is a fertilizer. It's like, the idea that you could eat whole oats and grains and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Man, it's all got fertilizer chemicals on it. It is not good. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, if you can use AI and find like early markers, and scans and things like that and make a prediction, some things that if you find out too late are easily fixable when they're detected, like in the first year or whatever. I think it'd be good. So I would like to think that if you apply AI for good, that it may actually be good. But like I said, who knows, man? It's kind of crazy. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of different things here, right? We're going to go through them real fast. Spooky feelings in old houses may be caused by boiler sounds and utility sounds.
Didn't we just watch an episode of Ghosts that suggested this?
Yeah. Sometimes I read these and I'm like, yeah.
But I know why
Creepy ass basement with pipes popping and all that stuff.
I understand where this is coming from, even though it is truly ridiculous. We have younger generations of now young adults moving to places that aren't as nice as their parents or are unfamiliar to them. And they're not used to living in that apartment with the leaky boiler.
Sure.
And they don't know what a boiler is, sadly.
Well, let's tie it down.
Yeah.
There's generations now that have no idea how to fix anything.
Yeah.
And so to them, it's completely weird, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I walk in your house and I hear your boiler pop, and I'm like, all right, I know what that is.
Yeah.
You know, because my dad would be fixing stuff. And even if you're just holding a flashlight, you do gain some knowledge just by being there.
Yeah.
There's generations of people like, I have no idea how to change my brakes. I have no idea how to do any of this stuff. And they're not being pushed into doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're uncomfortable? Well, you can do it when you're comfortable. Whereas my dad was like, I need you to hold a flashlight right here. You need to do this. You know, you did it. And then when you did it a couple times, you had that knowledge built into you to where at least you had a general idea of what you were supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So that's why like hearing a boiler pop or something like that is freaking people out and giving them weird feelings and stuff.
Yeah.
It's because they're just unfamiliar with it. Whereas if they kind of knew, you know.
Or like, you know, some of these
or
people.
had some kind of experience to it.
They're moving to like an old New York apartment that has like those radiator heaters.
Yeah.
And those things make tons of noise when they
So
first
old-
start up for the season,
Like
you know?
floors in old apartment buildings
Yeah.
and stuff like that where they're settled. Like your house will expand and contract with temperatures and things like that. Yeah. It's all kind of nuts. So I just thought that was common sense, but I guess not.
No, it's not.
So, all right, we're going to wrap up the podcast with one more thing. I thought this was actually pretty funny, and it's just for the headline. I didn't do any research or look at it, but I had to put it in here because it says, Massachusetts beekeeper sets swarm of bees on sheriff's deputies.
Oh, gosh.
I did not know attack bees were a thing. I mean, when I was growing up, the big fear was killer bees are coming. They made movies about it and all sorts of stuff. But if you're a beekeeper and you know how to make your bees attack bees, how do you train them? I think that's kind of funny. It's not funny for the deputies, but it's kind of funny. Like, bees attack or something. It's probably not nearly as cool as that.
A beekeeper who was a friend of someone who is being, in their opinion, unfairly evicted. An elderly cancer patient being evicted. So a friend is a beekeeper. She decided to drive a truck full of beehives to the sheriffs and deputies and then just opened the lid and ran off.
Oh, she didn't mean like she wasn't controlling them or anything with her mind or know some trick. So she just probably went down a bumpy road, got them all agitated, and then opened up one side of it and just pointed and ran away.
Pretty much. So
that's effective too, I guess.
Yeah. Drove the truck straight up to them, lifted up all the lids to release the insects, and ran off. However, she was quickly arrested, though not before deputies were subjected to a swarm of angry bees. Footage captured during the incident shows the chaos that ensued. Okay.
Yeah, so she got 4 misdemeanor counts of assault and battery and 2 counts of reckless assault.
And now the other title is Beekeeping Housing Advocate Unleashes Swarm of Bees on Hamden Sheriff's Department. So.
Crazy. I don't think you should be evicting an elderly cancer patient. I think that for programs and stuff like that, this is where the government could step in and go, hey, you can't evict them, but you know, since we pay for lots of people to stay places and let's give you some temporary government assistance so that the person that owns the house doesn't go to financial ruin or whatever and allows that person to, you know, basically stay until the problem gets fixed. Yeah. Whether through cure or whatever, you know. See, that's what the government should be doing. And there may be programs like that exist. I don't know.
Oh, she pulled up with a trailer with full-on beehives.
So she riled them up.
Looks like it's like an SUV, and it's like a heavy dude. That's a nice trailer. I'm sorry. It's a very nice trailer.
That was a pretty wheezy laugh.
And she just brought 3 full beehives at least. Oh, one's a double-decker. And
so let's do the comments.
Yeah.
First one was like, poor bees. And the next one was like, this is like the best Batman movie. This is like a criminal caper. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely one way to lose cops and get assault charges too. What's really sad is the guy with cancer got the boot. Nobody helped him. Meanwhile, the government invites a zillion. That's going to turn into illegal aliens and stuff, right? So, yeah. What? This happened in 2022. I really should have looked at this. Well, I was doing this before you came home.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Like, what a waste. That's the thing. What a waste. So, yeah. All right. So anyway, we do appreciate you taking the time to listen to our podcast, CreepGeeks Podcast, or the CreepGeeks, I can't even say it, podcast. We have lots of different ways for you to contact us and interact with us. As a matter of fact, we got a message asking if we do creepy things and stuff like go to the Brown Mountain Lights. And I should address this at the very beginning of the podcast. We have not gone since Hurricane Helene because things have changed around here.
Yeah.
And being proactive, they've even destroyed the big giant rock that you could sit on because they didn't want people sitting on it. So we haven't gone, but if we decide to do events like that and we know you, we're going to invite you.
Yeah.
So things have been kind of strange, but it's a good question. And also to answer that question, yes, we used to do stuff like that. And then, kind of COVID changed things a little bit, and then Helene changed things. So we're kind of lacking in that department. We haven't been on a ghost hunt at off-the-wagon dueling piano bars in a long time. I don't even know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll reach out to Daniel and see if that still happens. So, but we do appreciate all the interaction we get with the podcast, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, or even utilizing our toll-free telephone number that you can call and leave us a message or send us a text or share pictures.
And that phone number is 575-208-4025.
Yes. And she also asked about, or sent us a link to a YouTube video about the scientist. And I'd seen that video. I was like, this is a rabbit hole I don't want to go in right now. So, anyway, do appreciate you taking time to listen to the podcast. Please interact. If you want to rate us and review us, you can certainly do that. It's all good. But anyway, see you later. Take it easy. Bye, Sickle.
Bye.